Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of the Saloon build. In this episode, we're going to get the front windows that I made put in right away here, and then start working on the casing and siding up there. So let's not waste any more time, and let's just get going working here. Alright, so I just cut little 1/2-inch spacer blocks to set this on. So I'll just put the window into the opening here. Get it kind of lined up with where it's got to go. And then I just use finish nails for doing my windows. Keep in mind, this isn't like an actual window installation. Oh, this is kind of hard to do by myself. These are so tall. This is just my design of windows, so my way of installing them. It's roughly centered in there. So now I think I'm just going to use my shingles here as shims. Just kind of pick out some of the more useless ones and just kind of break them up into shims. Might need to chop it with the rigging axe. Now I guess I'll shim it from this end first. So now that all the sheathing's on, I'm gonna go and put the fascia on and the corners and the base and just all that sort of trim work that I need to do before I start siding, and make sure to get it painted before the siding starts going on so I don't have any sloppy mess. Okay, now I'm gonna start on the base. So I picked out the best board for the front, and I'm just gonna cut it. I have to move this back. Cut it at a 45. Alright, so I got the casing on this side and the kind of corner built, I guess. I'm just gonna have to square up the window just a little bit. This one looks all right. Maybe I'll just move it over slightly. And yeah, what I'm gonna work on now is just casing out the inside of this door and maybe throw that window in. All right, so we're just beginning painting here before the shingling starts. We got my dad and Winchester painting. It's looking good so far. Probably only need 2 coats. Okay, quick little update here. Pretty much all this stuff that could get painted now did. I'm just working on this little top trim cap piece. That's just kind of what I came up with. I don't really know if that looks too big or whatever, but that's what we're gonna have to deal with. And yeah, so I'll get that painted and then probably get right into shingling. All right, so now that pretty much everything that I can paint right now is painted, I'm gonna start shingling this side. Now, I did the other side already just as a practice run before I actually filmed anything, just to make sure I was happy with the way it was turning out, and I am. So I'll show you the whole finished product after, but I'll show you how I do cedar shingles. To be honest, I've never done them before. That side was my first time, so that's why I just wanted to do a practice run before I actually showed you guys how to do it. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is put a guide board so I know how far to overhang the shingles. Just pound the nails out of here. Yeah, if you hold that end, I'll fasten this end. Is the compressor plugged in?
Probably not. You got enough to do one more?
Okay, now just grab the other one and we'll go up here right away. Probably just have to pound the nails out of it. Here's the hammer. Okay, so now that I got a bundle up here, I'll open it up. And yeah, with these, with asphalt shingles, it's usually 3 bundles to a square. With these, it's 4. I was told at the home hardware where I bought them that it was 2. And I knew right away that that couldn't be right. And after doing the other side, it wasn't. So, I just need... Dad, can you pass me that chunk of 1x8 again? Well, the small one to put right here. The one that I was using, it's in the pile there, I see it.
And then I'm gonna head over to Kurt's.
Okay. That one's been cut already. Save that till the end. Yeah, these shingles aren't very high quality. They were cheaper. These, I think, cost me, I think they were about 30 bucks a bundle, 32 a bundle or something like that, which is pretty good for cedar. I went to a place called Julius Cedar in Saskatchewan, and I think they were like 100 and some a bundle, same size bundle, just higher quality. And I was not paying that, so I found these at Home Hardware in North Battleford. And I mean, for what it is, just an old saloon, works just fine. And my method of fastening here, I'm just using a narrow crown staple. Really, it should have the same holding power as a shingle nail, and it's a lot faster. To drive all these by hand would be quite the task, and I'm really running behind schedule here. This building's been sitting without a roof on it for 2 months now, almost. So, yeah, I've just been so busy with work and stuff lately that I haven't had a chance to really work on it. But basically what I'm doing now is the starter course. Okay, I'll just start back at the, well, that one, that'll probably cover. Actually, that one's pretty bad. So then with the first course, I just line it up with the bottom. Make sure your keyways don't meet, like stagger your keyways, you know. These aren't really cut square either, but for 30 bucks a bundle, you can't really go wrong. And plus it gives it a more rustic look anyways, I guess. Having them not being absolutely perfect. Okay, well, I'll keep going on this and check in a little bit later.
Double check this one, it kind of broke. Might be okay though. On the back side.
Yeah, that's close enough.
All right. Need another bundle up there?
Not yet. Okay, now I got my board up here, so I can start. I'll just see. Yeah, that one should get covered. Maybe I won't use that right on the end. Now these ones are so small, I can just use my snips to cut it. Probably not really advisable to use your snips on wood, but I don't really see too much of an issue. I'm going 6 1/4 exposure. You know what, maybe I'll just leave this one out until the very end. And the reason for 6 1/4 is because 1 by 6 is 5 1/2, and then I just put this ledge on top of it. I think usually they go 6, about 6-inch exposure. And then I just kind of take these and just roughly lay them out at the start. Make sure all the keyways get covered, like so. This one's pretty ugly. And then some of these with just the little holes, you know, whatever, I don't really mind. Geez, this one's actually pretty bad. These are really rough sawn. This one's pretty crooked. Yeah, some of these I might just be turning into shims. And then sometimes you just have to take a little bit of time and look around for the right piece. That one's pretty good. And then once I have a whole line going there, just staple them all like that, and then I'll find a piece that will work good for the end. Scribe it along that 3/4 inch fur-out piece of siding there, and then toss it down to my dad to cut it wherever he went, and then just move this board up here. Okay, now I've reached the point where I need my first piece of flashing. So to do this, you basically just need to think in terms of what is physically going to prevent water from getting inside. So I don't really know if there's a proper way to do this or not, but like most things, I just kind of have my own ways. So I'll show you how I address a situation like this. Now I just take this, I just have a bunch of lengths of step flashing stock broke up there. So I just cut this to bend around. Actually, I should have, it's not really gonna matter because I will have, maybe I'll bend that afterwards. I gotta clip that right. Okay, so that'll go just like that. What do I have in here? Wrong fastener. And then that goes like that. And then I was making my step flashings at 8 inches just because that's what works. And then I just made this step flashing go over. I got the wrong hand of snips here, but whatever. And just 45 from that point. Kind of overbent these. And there, that will make that corner watertight, essentially. And there's really no point of putting a staple in there because it's all live edge. Okay, now that that step flash is there, I can just go ahead with shingles as usual. Maybe try and start with a bigger one here. And then the next step flashing will lap, make sure to lap this one. And then that means this whole seam will be watertight. So next one will go like that with the next course, and so on and so forth. I'll do another video when I get there. Alright, now so just for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna hand nail for a little bit here. I got this pail of hand drive cedar shingle nails on one of the local Facebook buy and sells for $8 for the whole pail. So originally I was just gonna use those, but then I was thinking just how tedious it was gonna be to hand drive all this and how little time I actually had. So I just had the idea to use a narrow crown staple, which I think, in my opinion, is just as good, if not better. Oh, yeah, see, this is the issue. Trying to do this in just an awkward position. Yeah, this would probably take me a week to do if I was hand driving every single nail. Oh, some of these are really crooked. Holy, that's bad. Okay, I'll run these for now as a demo. This is actually the first time I've done the hand driving too, so you're learning with me here. And these are so tiny. This is kind of cool to actually be doing this though. This really is 100-year-old techniques. These nails are probably somewhere around there. This is an old box. It'd be 50 years old for sure. Split the difference on how crooked that is. Yeah, a lot of the bottoms on these are cut kind of crooked, which I'm not really too happy about. I was debating whether to just go spend an hour on the table saw and square off all the bottoms, or because some of them are really rough, like fairly ugly. Yeah, in the time it takes me to nail down 2 shingles by hand, I can have the whole row done pneumatically. So it is a massive time saver. But those nails hold really good. That's the proper way to do it. But that was just a little demo run. Now I'm gonna go back to the easy way. And then I'm gonna need another bundle up here. Wow, some of these are horrible. Jeez. I'd be embarrassed to market these as shims, let alone shingles. Much faster. Alright, so I made it all the way to the top. I just got a board, kind of a roof jack system, and threw it on there. And one of the things that I was thinking about I should tell you is the way I'm fastening this just with brad nails. I don't think that's really a big deal because it leaves such a tiny hole, and chances are the water will just swell that up anyways, so I'm not too concerned about it. But I don't really know how else to do it rapidly without just tacking this. But what I'm gonna do now is trim the top course. I think I'll do that just right there, just kind of at the height of the other one. Right about there. Now I would like to stain these yet today, but I don't have a stain brush, and it's a Sunday, so I might have quite the time. Okay, well that's officially shingled. I think I'm just gonna wait. I still haven't decided what I'm doing on the walls yet, but I'm thinking about metal, so if I do decide to do that, I'll probably decide sometime next week. When I order the metal package, then I'll just wait for the galvanized metal, and I'll break a galvanized steel cap rather than just an aluminum. Then everything will kind of match. So yeah. Alright, now that both sides are shingled, we're gonna work on putting as much of the siding on the front as we can before we hit that top piece, because we still have to wire in for the lights. So we're going to use this siding just as sheathing for now, and then once it's up there I'll be able to see what it looks like, and I'll kind of decide whether or not I like it, and then we might just do shingles on the front portion. Okay, so now I'm just working on trimming out these corners up on the top here. So I'm just gonna set that where it's gotta go roughly, and then just notch around this shingle. And I'll notch that and be back. Now I got this piece of 1x6 for the freeze board on top, and I put that on first because I want to. That's nice and in line with the other one. That might be a little hard for these nails right there. Yeah, way too hard. I forgot to get better nails again, of course. Just haven't had time lately to do anything really. And then this trim piece, 42.5. get the right angle to hit these nails. There. Now that's kind of as far as I can go before the electrical needs to be done up there, so yeah, that's as far as I'll go for now. Okay, so now I'm just working on trimming out these corners up on the top here. So I'm just gonna set that where it's gotta go roughly. And then just notch around this shingle. And I'll notch that and be back. All right, so now that all the shingles are done, I'm gonna start staining them. So I got this Sick and Stain, or I guess they call it Seco Stain now, but same thing. Anyways, this is like a cedar, like a log and siding type stain. So it'll work really good for this rough sawn shingles here. And then I also got myself a stain brush, and kind of the difference between a stain brush and just a paint brush is you're more rubbing the stain in rather than brushing it on. So you can hold it like this and not like a paintbrush where you're holding it like this and brushing. You're more working the stain into the wood. So that's the deal with that. So I guess I'll get started here. I'm gonna go top down just so any runs or anything, because this is rough sawn, I'll be applying it fairly liberally. So any runs or anything, I'll have a chance to get them and go back over them on the way down. Since this is so steep, I'm kind of guessing there will be a lot of runs. So we'll get started here. Now you can see I have my GoPro charging there, getting it ready to go because it's right out of battery again. But you know, I'll get a decent amount on the brush here and then just really work that in. Now the only thing with this stain is it's really expensive. It's about $140 a gallon. So I mean, I don't want to use it too liberally, but you kind of have to get everything coated. Now the reason I'm staining these and not just leaving them is because if you leave them, they'll just weather and crack. I mean, you can leave them, there's nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't look as nice. But I'm starting to like the look of this already. It kind of gives it a more aged look, not necessarily weathered, but just aged. I guess I actually got to point the camera at what I'm doing. And then once you do this for a while, you know, the stain kind of works into the brush and you don't have to dip it as much because it is all kind of soaked in there on its own. But yeah, I think this is gonna look really good. And then since these are rough sawn, this color will stay like this for a long time. I think it'll just kind of get darker as the sun hits it and it weathers, but this will be good for years to come.